For years now, you've been keeping tabs on a buck, and he's finally reached maturity. He's out there walking around in the forest. You think about him every single day. All you have to do is go find him and all of his buddies, and hopefully, just maybe, you might get a look at him. It basically consumes your every waking moment. It's hunting season. This is what you look forward to every single year. All you have to do now is find him. It's evening number 2 in this spot. Checked the camera yesterday. One of the up-and-comers is a donkey, so we're back. Probably gonna hunt it every day now because it's hard enough to find a target buck, let alone a fucking really good one. Hard enough to find a buck to hunt these days, so probably gonna be in here every day while he's hanging out. It's a crapshoot, but somewhere up there, he's there. That's right. Just gotta walk through the shit to go get him. Okay, so it's 4 o'clock Friday afternoon on the 12th of October. Hunted a spot the last couple of days. I think I filmed an intro the one day and then didn't do any filming because Justin was filming. We had a really cool encounter with a buck last night that spooked right into us. I think it winded us or something and didn't know what direction it was coming from, so the thing ran right to us. And it was one of the 4 points that we had on camera in there. Just don't know which one. Justin could have shot it, but we didn't ID which deer it actually was, so we didn't shoot it. And we saw a doe and bumped 2 others that we didn't see. And I just checked the camera. Nothing on that thing. Left it, and now I'm gonna go check one more. Probably be out of there by 5:30. Oh, there's 2 deer right there. Let me flip this around. But yeah, anyway, and then I gotta rip back up a different mountain and then go hike that for the evening for the last hour and a half and hopefully see something. But at least I just seen these 4 deer. I'll get another clip of them here. Mid to late afternoon sightings of mule deer like this aren't uncommon. Generally speaking, as soon as the temperatures start to cool down in October, things will get up and start to move. It's just nice to see a couple of does with some really young fawns out and about, looking healthy as all get out. You're raising those babies well, Mama. Keep up the good work. Yeah, they got nothing to be afraid of. After traveling to another camera, checking it, and then making my way into my final hiking destination, I did spot another doe and a fawn on the way in. The deer were up tonight, so optimisms were high that maybe I might see a buck. Just bedded, she just stood up. The other one was over in there, but she walked into the Christmas trees just a second ago. She's right there. The other one was over here, but she walked into the Christmas trees. scope. Almost 300 yards. Definitely not a super big target, but big enough. If it was a buck, a shooter, I'd definitely be taking a crack at him. All right, we're back in the whip. It's 7 p.m. It's dark out. Justin had an encounter with the 3x4 last night, and he was with the bigger 2-point. And the camera, one of the cameras that we put out yesterday, we didn't film. I checked it, and we had 3 bucks walk by last night. The Beauty Up and Comer 4 and the one that Justin saw. So pretty exciting. I saw 6 deer driving here, and then 3 up top for sure. One of them was one of the small 2-points off on our first camera in this spot. And so that was kind of neat, to see 3 deer off of the cameras in one go. And then there was a second buck. I think it was brown, like definitely had the color of a buck, but it came out in a bad spot and fed all across a little tiny opening behind a fir tree, so I was only getting little pieces of it. I think it was a smaller buck as well, but never got full confirmation, so very well could have been a doe. But nonetheless, productive evening. Stay number 3, chasing the big boy. Besides that encounter last night that we had at point blank, that was the only potential sighting so far. So we know that that was one of the 4 points. Can't say for sure it was the big one, but it was one of them. I'm gonna come back first thing in the morning, try again. It's gonna be cold tonight, so hopefully they're out moving around. Check in a bit later. The encounter I was speaking of that Justin had was with this deer. He's just a young 3x4 with small forks. He was hanging out with a 2-point around the same size. Their buddy was this other young up-and-comer 4-point, but we haven't got a look at him yet. They've all been kind of hanging out together. Always cool to see in the morning. Okay, so we're on day 4 hunting this buck. Just grabbing a coffee. Yeah, up there at First Light. See you there. Walking in the dry month of October can be a real challenge. It's extremely dry and very crunchy. And if it's quiet like it was today, anything that you do is amplified. It almost seems like times 100. The deer will hear you coming from a mile away. So when you can be quiet in spots like this, just stay quiet and you'll run into some deer if you're lucky. The reason that I'm on the gun here is I had literally just checked a trail camera and I had pushed a buck out of its bed and it was walking down this exact trail that I was on. And then I jumped this group of deer hoping that he might be in there with them. All you can do is stay on the rifle, be ready, and pray because your shooting window is extremely small. There's not much else you can do when you're timber hunting and stuff like this.
A few minutes ago, I had a 2-point on my camera. I must have pushed them. And a couple minutes later, after checking it, I just bumped 3 does. The buck wasn't with them, so he must have went off into the timber, but that was cool. I bumped him at like 15 yards, and then they ran into a spot that I could see, so I just waited, and like 3 minutes later they came back, got another look at him, all skinheads. Pretty exciting.
After hearing what I thought was a deer, I dropped down into the gully, basically into an old landing, and lo and behold, my ears weren't lying to me. There was a little family grouping of deer down in the bottom, and they weren't super scared of me at all. I worked my way down there extremely slow, and at first they kind of spooked and went away, but after standing there for quite some time, they ended up walking right into me and almost basically made me part of their family. This piece of footage is a really cool experience, in my opinion, being this close to wildlife, especially these little young deer. I think a big common misconception among hunters, probably because they've just never educated themselves on the topic, is just how much mule deer are actually up and feeding throughout the day. You may not see them because most of the time they really aren't moving around all that much. But a mule deer on average has to consume around 2.5 to 3 pounds of vegetation per day, and that number can fluctuate, especially for a bigger animal. Mule deer are browsers, so they generally select the most high calorie efficient food that they have in the area. They'll eat a massive variety of plants, whatever is best in season, primarily feeding on shrubs, forbs, even mushrooms at times, as you'll see a little bit later in this video. These deer will be on their feet anywhere on average from 9 to a dozen hours in a day. Primarily, a lot of this is taking place in nighttime. But one of the big things about deer is if you can find the food, generally speaking, they won't be too far away. They eat so many different plant species that as long as they can find something nutrient rich, they will sit on that food source and not move too far. Especially because as they lay down throughout the day, their digestive system is hyper tuned to extract as much calories out of a low nutrient food source as possible. So when they're bedded throughout the day, they literally sit there, regurgitate their food, and chew it again to get every little bit that they can out of what they've browsed throughout the day. This doe was picking through at a bunch of different things as I watched her. She was eating berries, even some grasses, lots of new shoots off of some of the willows and oak brush or scrub brush that was around in the area. And right here, you see something that you don't ever really notice with deer. She is literally eating a pine mushroom off the forest floor. Pretty cool. A lot of the time, if you find a group of deer that are hitting an area pretty hard for browse, like I am, there's a little patch of raspberries in this bottom, kind of shaded by this bigger timber. If you walk through it after they've gone by, they've literally chewed off every single small bit of new growth off of that plant because it holds the most amount of nutrients. Mule deer are pretty crazy. I've seen them eat some wild things. In my lifetime, I've had a doe come right up to me within 4 or 5 feet away and pick every single chokeberry off of a bush at the base of my feet. I didn't move and it had no idea that I was even there. Experiences like this is really what I do love about hunting. It allows a very unique opportunity. This is something that most people in the general public will never get to experience in their lifetimes, and I almost feel sad for them because they are amazing creatures. They're quite tame when they want to be, and they're very friendly for the most part. They all seem to have their own separate demeanors, and deer in general are quite characters, especially when they're in groups. It almost seems like they have a pecking order and they all have their own individuality and persona. They're also extreme munchers. They are non-stop picking away at stuff. Deer, when they think you're not a threat, they will literally allow you to become part of their herd. As long as you don't do anything to aggress them, they will essentially accept you at times. It's pretty crazy. The only thing I've noticed that changes this behavior is when they're under extreme pressure from hunting or predation from other wild animals. Say if there's a pack of wolves in the area, these deer wouldn't let me get anywhere close to them because they probably had a few run-ins with death in the recent times. It's just part of being on the lower end of the food chain, I suppose. Nonetheless, deer are pretty crazy animals to interact with. This experience was one of the better ones I had throughout this particular season with this family of deer. For whatever reason, they just really did not mind the fact that I was hanging out with them. As the seasons will begin to change, soon enough these deer will have lost all of the food source you're seeing them pick away at here. In the winter months, things get pretty tough for them and they will end up eventually losing a lot of weight. That's why they're constantly feeding non-stop, building up their fat reserves.
Is there enough sticky notes or are we running out?
No, there's enough.
Okay.
The 30-minute pumpkin carve com.
There's bones.
Everybody vote?
No, not yet.
No.
Gotta turn the lights off after and film that again.
You get a picture too?
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Happy Thanksgiving.
Cool when they're, because they all are different when you look at them. It's neat.
Oh yeah.
Alright, Jill, you tallying once Kevin's done.
Much fun as playing it.
You can tally.
Yeah, but I won't put them in front of
Sending
them.
Rick all the pumpkins to show him.
Oh, look at pictures.
Doesn't it look good? Look at
They
it.
do look cool, yeah. This one's got a hat.
What's going on
Here's
with your
the,
candle?
the names. The Nerdy Acne Kid, Spectre, Pimp Eastwood the Bandit, fucking Mario, Three Musketeers.
But I didn't. I left it like 3/4 later.
Are you deliberating, Jill?
I'm putting them out, yes.
Actually, you know what? The window-
Don't watch, don't ruin the surprise.
Oh my God, it's cold.
Just
No
let-
surprise.
Just let her do it and then you find out.
I'm gonna go make whipping cream.
Oh, we still have to eat pumpkin pie.
Okay.
In last,
Oh, I can take the pie home. You don't need any.
okay. In last place is Mac and I with
With 0
in fourth place with 1 vote is Nerdy Acne Kid.
I voted for you.
In third place Musketeers.
Hey!
And with one extra vote, fucking Mario wins.
Second.
Huh?
Second.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That didn't get last.
Carve pumpkins this October.
Oh yeah.
Literally.
They're probably gonna be gross by the
What
time.
is it today? The 13th?
Yeah, it's like, you literally, it's early October. We're gonna have to do this again before Halloween.
It's not even cold out either. So
Yeah, they're not gonna
just
last.
turn to mush.
Yeah, we'll let them run.
Shoot them in the woods.
They look good. They look cool.
They do look cool.
The two with the big candles look really orange in the camera.
There is something about
Pumpkins.
pumpkins and candles,
Did
dude.
you bring another pie up?
Yeah, they look
They're
sweet.
they're the best
Okay, I just
Halloween
want to check because I
decoration.
only saw
Yeah.
one. I left a
Like,
little
for
one in the
sure.
fridge. Oh, okay, good, good. Yeah, we'll do that first one and then I'll
See how far we get.
Yeah.
It's now another day after work, and I decided, even though it's so warm out on this particular day, that I would go and give it another shot. We've been having a little bit of luck seeing bucks, so it's only a matter of time. If you just keep going, eventually you might see the deer you're after.
Alright. It is 4:40 p.m. This is outing number 7. Looking for the big 4. I'm just hiking up the mountain right now. Get a still hunt tonight. Check a couple cameras. Saw one doe on the way. So hopefully we see some.
Walking in these conditions was quite favorable. We had had a skiff of snow very recently, and it made the ground quite soft and way more quiet than it had been in recent times. I had checked a couple of cameras upon making my lap through the timber I wanted to still hunt. The up-and-comer 4-point made an appearance at the one I was just standing at, and another friend from the past had showed up. This buck was definitely in his elder years. He's been on camera for 4 years now. He is an absolute toad. I've never seen him with my own eyes, but there's to hoping. Maybe one day I'll get a look at this guy, or the other buck that is now also in the prime of his life.
Well, we're going on trip 8 or 9 now. It's Friday. I think it's like the 17th or 18th of October. And this is the first time in a very long time that I've seen snow in October. So it's 4:35. I got like 2 hours of light. Gonna go do some timber hunting and see if I can't track down a bucksky. Didn't have enough time to really go anywhere else, so
Let's give her a go, eh? Gonna be primo hunting conditions right now. Only person up here too. Okay, well, it's getting dark. I just came with absolute garbage. One of the big bugs walked past one of my cameras during a snowstorm today, and I followed him way down into the shed, and he just kept going. So I think he dropped to get out of the wind, and now I'm going back up. So still on my way back to the truck. I only got like half an hour, so I'll be back to the truck long after dark. So anyway, first snow of the year, pretty uneventful hike. Probably would have been okay if it was not windy. It's really windy on the other side of this. So I have a feeling that all the deer just left the huntable stuff and went into the garbage to get out of the wind. Anyway, I'll report back if anything exciting happens. This is what I'm talking about when I say it's super windy on the top and on the other side. You always want to hunt the side that isn't windy, because generally speaking, deer don't like to stand out in the wind. I've only cut that one track, and I've walked like probably 2.5, 3K. So I think I'm just gonna motor on back to the truck and call her a day. Start again tomorrow. About 6:21. I still ain't out of here. A couple deer cut my track. Looks like a doe and a fawn. Or 2 does anyway. They're doing the same thing. They're just dropping straight down. It had been a few days since we had had that snowfall, and temperatures had warmed right back up again. I was hoping it might stick around, but it didn't. The day previous to this, I ran out and checked some cameras in the dark after work, and there wasn't any sign of the bucks that I had been chasing. So I decided to hike an area that was close or opposing to where the bucks were in hopes that maybe I might see something. Generally speaking, bucks this time of the year will be pretty localized to wherever they are, but the curiosity definitely got the better of me, and I wanted to go walk some ground I hadn't spent any time in a very long time. I grew up hunting here, and the forest has completely changed since last I walked through this exact spot. There is way more blowdown now, and it definitely doesn't resemble anything like it was when I was a kid. Nonetheless, all you can do is go, put one foot in front of the other, and explore, and maybe good things will happen. At least the walking was semi-quiet this day, even if you did have to pick through a bunch of blowdown to get there. Mountain hunting in British Columbia is an extremely physically demanding task. A lot of the time, there are roads in the general vicinity that you can park and then work your way up onto most ridges, but a lot of the areas that we choose to hunt no longer have road access, and that's for two reasons. I really don't like hunting around other people because I like to have the woods and the deer be the only things I have to worry about when I'm out there. I don't really enjoy hunting around people, as the pressure only adds to the ever more difficult task of putting together the puzzle that is already almost impossible to put together. That being said, I was about to walk along this ridge edge and find something that I never thought I would ever see again. We ran cameras on these hills locally to us for about 4 years now. Only a couple, but it was enough to keep tabs on some bucks because there wasn't any mature deer in the group. As time has gone on, we've had a few random deer will come in and out, only to be seen once or twice through the lens of the camera and then disappear, never to be seen again. We weren't hunting it, so we were never actually going to run into them with our own eyes, but having the digital footprint embedded into a memory card to look back on is pretty cool when something like this happens.
Walking a hill I haven't walked in a long time. Looks like there's a bunch of bad weather up there. No deer on this hill. Not right now, anyway. Sitting here glassing. Look at that. Not paying any attention. That is a big ass 2-point. I can't believe there's deer sheds up here. Oh, shit. Here's the other side. What a goofy looking buck, man. Here, I'll set this up in a tree and I'll hold it up. That is the weirdest looking deer of all time. I guess he would have sat like that, really cocked forward. These things are going to be annoying to carry.
A set of antlers like this is extremely unique. And after I'd found them and had been walking for a while, it dawned on me that I had seen them somewhere before. This was one of the bucks that left a digital footprint a couple of years ago, and I had a photo of him. He's a pretty unique buck, and a frickin' troll at that.
You know the crazy part about that? I'm at 5,000 feet right now, and a deer wintered up here. That's insane. I bet this guy was a pretty big buck. Deer bed. You know, come to think of it, I'm pretty sure this is the highest elevation set of sheds I've ever found. It's pretty wild. Saw 2 bucks today. Just trying to find a mature one. It's not a very easy task because there's not very many of them.
Well, that's it for today. I decided to not stick it out until dark because it's been so windy, like it's howling all day today, and both the deer that I saw were, one of them was bedded, the other one was bedded the second time I saw it. The first time I saw it, it was moving. But check the main camera up in this spot, and the deer have not been there for going on 3 days because I think it's just way too windy. Nothing is moving. A couple does came through, that was about it. Found that cool ass set of sheds though, that was a treat. It's not something I have ever found at this elevation, so that was pretty cool. Basically height of land for where they came from anyway. Nonetheless, been a good outing. I think this is like outing number 13 today. Today I got a full day in. A lot of these outings have just been after work trips, but you gotta put in every single chance you can because you're never gonna kill a good one if you don't put in a ton of time. It's just the way it works now. That or you gotta get really lucky. Anyways, oh, rabbit. I'll call her there unless I see something driving out. Adios. Finally, something that I always look forward to, a skiff of snow on the ground. This is beneficial to me in so many ways. Tracking, being quiet, highlighting the background and the timber. It's just the best conditions, in my opinion, to be out walking around in the woods looking for a buck. I'd covered a lot of ground this morning, and I hadn't seen much of anything, not even really much sign. It was pretty windy, but I felt like I was in the right area to see something. Hopefully, that would only be just a matter of time. It's not like the deer are going to spend any or large amount of time where it's beneficial for you to hunt in the timber. They'll probably be bedded down somewhere, just relaxing, conserving energy, not doing a heck of a lot. The cameras were telling me that these deer were still grouped up into bachelor groups as far as the bigger bucks go. So my hopes weren't super high. But all you can do is try and keep after it.
That's definitely one of the bucks I've been after. That's a big track. Saw a buck. Just jumped on one of his bed. He was bedded right there. This is the first open patch that I've come to the entire time I've been walking. And he busted out of there and went up and stopped broadside at like 80 yards. Could have smashed him. That was cool. He was, I'm not 100% sure, but it looked like one of the bucks off the cameras, but that was fun. At least I saw something. I was thinking this. I've been walking for 3 hours. My Onyx said I did a 2.64 mile loop so far. That's the first deer I've seen. Tough hunting up here. I just need that to happen with a big one.